Yes, we are in the midst of 3 big energy shifts. We've got a lot to talk about. Let me get comfortable. I recently asked if anybody was feeling the eclipse energy come on. 124 people responded, and a vast majority of those people said yes. And within that yes, 54% of people said, oh hell yes. And I am in the oh hell yes category. So I am with you, 54%. Not only are we in eclipse season, but there are some major shifts initiating during eclipse season. And it's really important to understand them, to know about them, to have a feeling for them coming on. Why? Because knowing those shifts are coming, it helps ground us. It helps us make meaning of our material existence in this human form. Big move number 1 is Jupiter returning into Pisces. And the theme, or the big idea for me on this one, is that it's one more chance for us to go back into the dreamscape and gather inspiration, gather our imagination, get those big optimistic dreams going. Jupiter will return to Pisces again for about 7 weeks, and that will initiate on October 28th, and it will go until Tuesday, December 20th. So it's not a very long period, but it may be just what we need to reactivate our hopes. It's very optimistic. It's our dreams, it's our visions. And I think we can especially look back to what we might have left off in May of 2022, April of 2022. Maybe something has stopped then, and it might come back up again. This could be a period of real fullness, but it's also a little bit of a blissful break. I feel like it's a last stop into the dreamscape. It's where you can think big, where you can sink into the imaginative part of your planning, that you might have something that you've been wanting to do. And with those plans, you can be ready when Jupiter enters Aries to initiate if you feel compelled. If you feel compelled to really go for your dream, this would be a great time to do that. I have some complicated feelings about Jupiter and Aries for the collective, for mundane astrology. And Jupiter will be in Aries in our March of 2023 time. So anyway, let's put that to the side for now. Personally, I think it could be very powerful when Jupiter enters back into Aries, if you've made the most of your Jupiter and Pisces time to initiate something and really go forward and go for your dream. So Jupiter will be in Aries from December 20th, 2022 until May 16th of 2023, and that's when Jupiter will enter Taurus. Big energy move number 2 is Mercury going into Scorpio. That is initiating on October 29th. The main idea for this energy for me is to beware of the fear spiral. Mercury in Scorpio with all this other energy, it's complicated. When Mercury is in Scorpio, there's this thinking deeper. There's a place where the mind can go that can be a little bit unsettling, possibly. Some Scorpio issues are very complicated, very deep, very cathartic, but also possibly frightening, powerful stuff most people don't really want to explore that often. It's the repressed things that can be brought back up during this time with Mercury and Scorpio, especially with all this other energy and the eclipse. The eclipse is big endings, big beginnings. Luckily, Mercury moves pretty quickly. Mercury will be in Scorpio until November 17th, 2022. Be aware of where your mind is going, and if it's going somewhere that you don't feel comfortable with, give yourself a lot of grace with that. Ask yourself questions like, why am I thinking about that? What does it mean? What can I learn from this? Rather than repressing it. Because if you let it come up with grace and you sort of accept that that's something that's coming up during this time, that you may have a little more courage to explore it. Mars and Mercury have this reception going on, and Mars is strength and power, and it's in Gemini, so that's one of Mercury's signs. So the mind is very strong at this time. So I feel like this would be a time where if you have these feelings or these experiences come up to the surface, you probably will have the strength of mind to really sit with it, think about it, almost marinate in it. The words that keep coming to mind are fear spirals. And I'm just talking from my personal experience right now. Fear spirals are real. And I've found myself at the verge of a fear spiral multiple times, on the edge of it. And I do lean into astrology when I have those feelings, because it shows that nothing is permanent. Nothing lasts forever. Oh, I just got this card. Check this out. I got this at Trader Joe. Nothing is permanent. Good reminder. Nothing is permanent. We might trick ourselves when Mercury is in Scorpio to think that it is, to think that these deep, dark feelings are going to last forever, or fear spirals, have the more power to possibly take us to a place we might be afraid to go. When we have these experiences, we need to know the difference between fear for fear's sake, fear mongering, or just being afraid or being worried, because that doesn't really help. It doesn't really do anything to worry about stuff. It's just a really heavy Scorpio time. And with Mercury entering, just be aware of your mind during these next few weeks. The third thing that happens during this eclipse period on the next day, October 30th, is Mars stations retrograde. Yeah, so Mars is the host of all this crazy eclipse energy because Mars rules Scorpio, and it's slowing way down. It's super slow, and it's slowing down in Gemini, where it's going to be for 7 months. This is a very mentally acute warrior energy, and there may be a lot of tense and cutting conversations. That's what I'm expecting while Mars is in Gemini and retrograding, especially around the midterm election rhetoric. I'm hearing a lot of it already. It's debate, it's punchy words. Mars in Gemini can really cut to the chase. It can really cut through all the crap. I think if you really listen carefully and have discernment, critical thinking for yourself, listening carefully to the debates and the words, and I'm trying to understand what's true and real, Mars has that power. One of my favorite astrologers, Juanita Benedicto, has this fantastic article on Mars and Gemini energy. I'm going to link that below in the description. But I really love her advice, very practical advice for how we can navigate this energy. She says, we'll want to be cautious with our communication as we focus on how we'd like to respond rather than reacting to our reptilian brains. So it's not just lashing out verbally, right? That could be Mars and Gemini. As Mars fences through Gemini, she says, we'd be wise to watch our thoughts and ground our bodies, as Mars can agitate mental processes, making us feel uncomfortably wired. On the other hand, Mars and Gemini can give our communication a kind of candid precision, helping us nail our message mightily on the head while putting ideas into action. I love that. I think she's got that exactly right. We can expect to have these themes very present until March 25th of 2023, when Mars leaves Gemini and enters Cancer. And here we go with March 2023 again. Whew, are we marking our calendars for end of March 2023 or what? It's going to be interesting. Not only are these planets making big moves, but in the last few weeks, all three of these planets have been visible in the night sky. Jupiter is huge right now. It's still big and bright and easy to find. It's the brightest thing in the sky. Mars just is like all of a sudden there. I guarantee you will find the red planet very easily if you go out at the right time. It's like arresting in its presence. It's very powerful right now, and just the vision of it, I think, is really spectacular. I was super excited to get to see Mercury. That was my first personal view of Mercury. If you have a chance to trek out into the night sky and see those planets in real life, I think it's really powerful. I like you just the way you are, and I really appreciate you being here with me. I'll talk to you next time.